we talk about the next chapter, making that one of the best chapters, three things you want to be thinking about. One is you do a situational analysis. We go into the mall, look at that marquee. You are here. Figure out where you're at. Do a complete analysis of your money, your personal situation. Think about all the different things that you envision as far as what you'll be doing during retirement. And from there, you can make assumptions. So it's about situational analysis. You make the assumptions, all kinds of different assumptions about what you're going to do, where you're going to live, rates of return on your money. We have to make a lot of different assumptions. You're free to change those assumptions at any time, right? And once you make those assumptions, then you're going to get a clear picture, of your retirement lifestyle. We run a financial plan for you. If we ran that plan, we would ask you for that information, those different assumptions, because we want to get an idea of what your expenses, what your lifestyle expenses are going to look like, not now, but during your retirement years. To take it from there, you go and I've seen something that people do that's very effective, where they will block out time going forward. So let's say you're a mountain climber, maybe you're a sailor, you want to sail in the Caribbean, you want to do something adventurous from 55 to 60, that might be the best years to do that adventurous thing. You block out time for that. From 60 to 65, you assume you may be feeling different. Maybe there's grandkids in the picture. Maybe there's different things going on in your life. 65 to 70, 75 to 80, 85 to 90, 95 to 100. You can plan this thing out and assume, as long as you like, hey, people turning 65, most of them are living to 88 these days. So we got a lot of planning and a lot of assumptions that we can make. So you do that, those blocks of time, and you take that back to the money side of it. From a financial standpoint, you can figure out, it gives you a much better way to plan how much you may be spending, in different phases of your retirement. So those three things go a long way towards helping you to be where you want to be, do what you want to do, live where you want to live, and make that chapter a very enjoyable chapter of your life. People retire. Number one factor in terms of where they live. There's grandkids in the picture. That's the biggest determinant. People retire. They, in terms of what they're going to do, so 16 hours more time. A lot of people don't test drive it or pre-plan for that. So pre-planning for what you're going to do is very important. You don't want to get to that point and say, what do I do now? You got to have a part-time job, you got an encore career, or you're just having fun. Try to test drive it. Plan that way. Try to test drive it before you get into retirement mode. So the psychological retirement game, can be just as important and just as big as the financial part of it. And as we all know, it's kind of all tied together. So the great thing about your careers is you've been in a risky career, you've taken, made sacrifices. Now you're going into a phase. You got some great retirement benefits for that, and you got a lot better retirement benefits than many others in the private sector. So, the kit that I brought with you in terms of planning, you look on the left side of your kit. We got a 10 questions guide. So if you can nail down these 10 questions, and you can answer these 10 questions, explore them, or work through them, it is going to set you on track, for having everything buttoned down like you need to. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to be a 10. You got the right answers to these 10 questions. You can put this in place. I'm going to go through a couple of these questions that are in this book. Just to go through them and give you some specific information. Put a tax, pretty self-explanatory. Here's a 2014 tax guide. Our financial planning capabilities. We do everything over the internet. If you would like a financial plan, if you would like a snapshot of your situation to kind of project what things are going to look like from a financial standpoint, cash flow standpoint during your retirement, we will do that for you. If you have a specific area that's of concern to you, maybe it's estate planning, maybe it's taxes, maybe it's investment allocation. We'll put that together for you. If you want the 90-page comprehensive plan, pull it all together, we will be happy to accommodate you there and give you a comprehensive financial plan to see whether your projections are realistic or unrealistic, and it just gives you a numbers picture of how accurate or how realistic your planning may be. Then you can modify, you can make some changes if necessary. So just to go into the first question in this booklet, where we talk about what are you going to do, where are you going to live, are you going to work part-time? Three big questions that need to be answered under that. What do you think? Before people leave employment, they have anxiety about finances, about not getting a paycheck. After they leave employment, what do you think is one of the biggest things they miss? What?
Employment.
They don't miss the paycheck, they miss the co-worker, the social interaction. So it's kind of interesting. So if you're the type of person that's socially, you like to be around people, you like to be partying, you like to have an active social life, you plan accordingly. Maybe the Villages is for you. So you think through it. You can test drive it, right? The other, going through the guide and the 10 questions, we emphasize one area, estate planning. And estate planning is something people tend to start thinking about more when they retire, getting close to retirement. Estate planning is an act of love. Doing estate planning does not increase the probability that there's going to be a tragedy or something's going to happen to you, even though a lot of people think that. I think that's why people put it off. But your basics on estate planning. Estate planning has been made a lot easier in this day and age by the internet. So for less than $100, you can go on Legal Forms, Legal Zoom, an organization called NOLO. These online legal sites will give you a basic estate planning package. If you haven't put that together already, that they can take care of it. So you'll get your valid wills, get a living will, get your powers of attorney in place. The biggest deal on this estate planning is if you're married. The big deal is if two people are in an accident and they die at the same time. And then there's kids in the picture. Compounds even more. Or two people get in an accident, one of them passes away and one of them's, can't function. Is injured very badly. Or somebody gets sick. So say somebody, they're divorced or they're single, they get sick, they don't have a spouse or they don't have powers of attorney to someone that's going to make decisions on their behalf. So the will is one thing. If you don't have a will, the courts are going to decide what happens to your estate. The courts are going to decide what happens in guardians for your children, as an example. Medical power of attorney, you want to be in control of that. So if you become incapacitated, you want to have a living will and grant somebody a medical power of attorney who can take care of your wishes for your medical care. You become incapacitated, what about your financial affairs? Traveling overseas somewhere, become incapacitated, you want somebody back in the United States to have financial power of attorney so they can make changes in your account. So those are the big things, the will, the living will, and those two specific powers of attorney are things that you want to have in place on a basic level. If you've got a lot of things going in your life, you've got some inheritances, you've got things that are tied up in some litigations, you've got a business, you've got a lot of property, your money is very well spent hiring a estate planning attorney to help you take care of those contingencies. I wouldn't try that, a complicated estate, a lot of things going on. I wouldn't do it online. I wouldn't do the basic package online. I'll be looking at different strategies to help you. I hope everyone has an estate tax problem, because you have to have an estate of $5 million before you have an estate tax problem. However, there are other things involved with estate planning that go way beyond the taxation side. Other questions I get occasionally, people will ask me about asset protection. So your asset protection. So what happens if I get sued? What happens if, you know, somehow I rack up a bunch of medical bills or medical debt and I can't pay that off? People are coming after me for one reason or another. What can they attach? What can they take of mine? Or what can they put liens against? Well, you know, O.J. Simpson got off on the criminal charges, but he knew right after that criminal trial it was going to be a civil trial. So what did he do? He moved to Florida. Because in Florida, it's one of the most liberal states in terms of asset protection. So he tied up all his money in different assets that couldn't be attached. He never paid a penny in that civil suit. You know, he lost it. So along those lines, in Florida, we've got homestead. Somebody sues you, they can't get your home. They can't force you to sell your home for that lawsuit. In situations where you own a lot of your money is in 457 deferred comp or retirement type plans, they can't penetrate those accounts. So a lot of your asset protection, you know, is already in place from the standpoint that you have these types, or your money, you know, is in various retirement plans. Your pension, can they garnish pensions? The pension you're going to get? They can't get that either.
They cannot get your pension in any state?
Well, maybe in Florida they can. In Florida,
in Florida they cannot.
In Florida they cannot. There may be some state out there that, generally speaking, I haven't heard of a state that will allow, but there may be certain situations where they get it. Now, all this asset protection kind of goes by the wayside if you're in a dispute with the IRS. The ball game changes. So anybody out, you hadn't done your taxes, you got a situation with the IRS, I highly advise you settle that before you retire. They can come after any, they have the ability to pretty much go after anything they want. The other deadly debt out there, situation, student loan debt. Student loan debt is, you can't get rid of a bankruptcy, and the government does have a lot of garnishment power over collecting a student loan debt, so they can go into different accounts and get that. But even if you have an IRA, you know, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, creditors, lawyers, they can't get into that money. So in Florida, also you have joint property. Say one spouse gets sued, you own the property in joint name. In Florida, they can't come after that because it's in joint name. So joint property cannot be attached either. So we got a lot of protections in terms of Florida. So I guess maybe it's an incentive, another incentive to stay in Florida. There's, you know, it's a litigious society. I mean, senior citizens have been sued, you know, teeing off and the golf ball hits somebody in the head. And they come back. I mean, those are real cases, real situations. So that type of protection, yeah, you have some peace of mind in Florida that you got that squared away. Any questions on estate planning or that asset protection side of it?
I've got one, real quick.
Yes.
What's your take on paying your home off at retirement versus keeping your mortgage? I know there's lots of different reasons for monies. What's the highlight on that, in your opinion?
Well, I sit down with somebody in a retirement analysis session, and you know, I'm saying, you go into this retirement and you don't have any debt, and you're replacing 70–80% of your income, and you got a clear vision of what you're going to be doing during retirement, you're a 10 on this in terms of your financial house being in order. So I've never had a paid off mortgage, but I hear it's great. You know,
so
when you
debt-free and retirement with a pension would be a good way to go.
It's really it comes down to a lot to values. You know, how much you do having coming in, and I think from the standpoint of risk, when we think of riskiness, or, you know, our risk meters in Florida, you get sued and you got a mortgage, you know, you got a house, you still owe money on. You know, that's protected. You get in a situation where you don't have that debt. You know, just think of it in terms of how's it going to change your lifestyle, how's it going to change your life. So envision another assumption. There's the assumption, I paid off my mortgage. Now what's my life going to look like during retirement? Is it going to change dramatically? I mean, there's pros and cons. But that's one of the biggest debates out there. Is, you know, do I pay off? In my opinion, get debt free. Don't be a slave to a mortgage company or a lender, and probably enjoy your life more. So that's my plan. The other thing, from the planning side of it, is you can start to plan forward. Put plans in place, throw money at this debt, and attack it, so that you don't have the debts when you retire. Another sheet I put in here, the sheet on the right in the very back, this is a compilation of a number of different websites, financial phone numbers and such that you may want to put in your financial file for future reference. The first one, we talk about knocking out debt, powerpay.org. It's a non-profit, put this website together. And I've gone through this with many people in terms of showing them a easy way to structure a debt payoff program, and they've been amazed at how quickly they can pay off their debt, much sooner than they ever thought, through the powerpay.org program. I can work with you one-on-one if you want to go through that. Other stuff, great play. Anybody use mint.com? Have a good day. If you get Mint, mint.com is a great place in terms of organizing, put all your financial information in one spot, all your budgeting in one spot. And usually there's someone in the audience that uses Mint because it's a very popular site. That's something you want to try. And then I just been talking about, I guess, the other aspect of things that we should be aware of in the state of Florida. Florida is the #1 state for identity theft. More identity theft cases come out of Florida than anywhere else. So I put information in here on the minute you think your identity is stolen, what you need to do, the phone call you need to make, how you need to proceed. The other big part of identity theft is IRS, or people filing false claims with the IRS using your Social Security number. That has gotten to be a very huge enterprise. So what the IRS is doing now is you can go to the IRS and you get a PIN. So you can file your taxes with a Social Security plus your PIN number to prevent someone else from stealing your identity or filing taxes on your behalf. So this is just some good information and some great sites.